I am Vivek, who's going to be hosting and moderating the Pecha Kucha session. Uh, a little bit about me. I'm a brand strategist, and I do a lot of work with brands to kind of expand their horizons, look at where and what are the possibilities. I'm also a museum and culture space designer. I teach as well. And at Raw Collaborative, I have curated the entire talk series alongside being the principal strategist for the brand IP. So that's a little bit about me. About the talk, what is going to happen today. So this is a very interesting segment wherein it is going to, each of the five speakers that we have are emerging. They have some very exciting stories to share. They have some very exciting visuals to share with us today. So the format goes 20 into 20. That is essentially wherein each slide, they get 20 slides of visuals, and each slide, it rests for 20 seconds. So they get 20 seconds to speak about that visual or that slide. So it's a 20 into 20 format. It's a very interesting visual storytelling format, and we thought that we will give it a shot and have some very diverse people come and present with us. So we have Brinda, we have Javed Ali, we have Ipsita, Maulik, and Pranshu. I'm going to introduce them as and when they come and tell a little bit about them, and then they're going to take over the stage for their 20 into 20. What we are going to do with this, the overall theme was to look at intersection of rational design principles with emotional or sensory driven approaches. The idea was to look at their processes, not merely just their work or their final output, but what goes into it. What is it that they believe in? What are the kind of stories? What are the kind of inspirations and references they draw from? That was the basic idea that we wanted to kind of explore, because what we end up seeing a lot of times is what we see on Instagram or any such medium. So here we thought was an interesting opportunity to go dig a little deeper. So we are going to start with Javed. And hi, Javed. Come. So Javed is currently a final year student at NID in pursuing product design, right? And he has helped build and set up the design science lab at NID, which is doing some very exciting things. But more than that, he's an industrial designer, researcher focused on the intersection of people, design, and emerging technologies. Currently working on his bachelor's thesis at NID Ahmedabad's Design Science Lab, which is what he helped set up. He explores AI in design and champions participatory experimental approaches to design that challenge conventional perspectives. So when I spoke with him, and I was like, okay, what is it that you have in mind to kind of showcase? And he has got some good stuff. Can we, Harshad? So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. I hope I'm audible. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the introduction, Vivek. So I want you guys to know something about me, and that is that I love fusion food. And by fusion food, I probably don't mean the things that you're thinking of. I mean the really adventurous, absurd things that you probably see on Instagram. Think Oreo and sambar, or kurkure and milk, or hot sauce and jalebi. But my favorite part of this is not the food, but to offer these to my friends. And most of the times their reactions are something like, 20 seconds is a long time when I'm here. Something like this. So, but to me, this also sort of describes really well the design that I like. You combine jarring ideas and things together, and whatever monstrosity that you get out of, you let it interact with people, and as you stand in the side, gaining this almost sadistic pleasure. And so today what I'll be showing you is a bunch of hot sauce jalebis, these alternative interesting forms of design that we've been exploring at the science lab. And to me, these alternative formats of design, while still employing the principles that we are very familiar with, they deviate fundamentally on what they mean. We all know somebody we can give this to. So what if design moves away from this innate need of problem solving? What does satire, product design, and consumerist cultures coming together, what do those spaces look like? And with these fictional satirical products, what we wanted to do was embed a lot of these human characteristics into a physical form. Feelings of jealousy, anger, frustration, excitement. If we embed them into these physical forms, how would they provoke people? Or what are the feelings that somebody would get when they see this? And when we exhibited it up for fictional sale, the emerging conversations were really interesting. People are suddenly talking about this boss that they hate, faculties, their drug uses, and their beef with friends. And to me, these alternative formats of design, these hot sauce jalebis, what they enable you to do is to have a space for optimism, joyfulness, and criticality in a space that sometimes feel phony and saturated with the same process. So, of course, those examples were more of a playful nature, but the idea of taking philosophies and turning it into a provocative object to guide a conversation, they're very impactful, especially when you consider futures of technology. So when you see this, I don't want you to envision a broken up toy and a bunch of PVC adapter. I want you to envision a cross species nutrient transfuser, a device that lets you transfer nutrients you lack from your pets or cattle. And one of the workshop participants envisioned a Shadi Shashar, which is basically a device that you wear that selectively cancels out all the questions from your annoying relatives about Shadi. And so these provocative objects, what they enable you to do is explore implications that you otherwise never thought of. This is one of my personal favorites. Imagine a scenario: you're tripping on legal LSDs in Hampi, let's say, and you want to share this with your friends. So you pop this third eye recorder out, you connect it to your neural implant, and it lets you record this mind-bending shit that you're seeing so that you can share it with your friends. So I feel like these hot sauce jalebis are very helpful for understanding technologies that we don't know what the future of it would be. And for the last 1.5 years, I've been experimenting with AI and design to see how both of this can entangle. And in one way, they've made this making of these hot sauce jalebis really quick. So for example, what would a chair look like if it was inspired from octopus? Or what would be a shoe design that would look like, what would a shoe design look like if it's inspired from the natural systems it's around? And these are designs, hundreds of designs generated within a span of a minute. But more than that, I'm interested in the narratives that make you think about a technology. Why is it that we always think that AI is going to replace us, or humans are never going to be replaced? And many researchers believe that it has to do with the popular depictions of alternative entities, particularly in the Western media. You look at Terminator or any of that, there's a competitive narrative. But when it comes to India and Japan, the popular depictions of alternative entities are very different. So we had the privilege of going to Japan and testing out these hot sauce jalebi frameworks to enable them to make products that have different narratives about AI in them. So they made these wonderful, wonderful prototypes that had alternative cultural biases about AI. For instance, this group made a food translator. They're envisioning a scenario where you're having dinner with AI, and the AI's food would look very different from yours. And Japanese table etiquettes, according to the Japanese table etiquettes, it's quite impolite to eat something that your guest cannot have. So the food translator translates your food to look like each other's food. And as an extension of this, we were thinking of what would an Indian response to AI be, and we thought we could go to Sunday market, a 600-year-old market in Ahmedabad where you can get used diapers. You could also get a spare kidney if you're looking for it hard enough. So we envisioned, the participants of the workshop envisioned a vinyl that is made by a completely AI artist. So if you don't know, last year was the highest record sales of vinyl. And we kept it there and we let people interact, and some people, they would look at it, they're quite confused, and they'd ask the buyer, and buyer has no idea that it was there. And what if Patanjali starts making these sunscreens that protect you from these facial detecting systems? And what if deodorants does not have to have this yucky narrative of intimacy to sell you deodorant? What if it could be a response to a privacy disaster? So by what I shared with you, I don't intend to give you a manifesto for design, but what I would like to do is an invite. The next time you have jalebi and hot sauce, perhaps you should mix it up and see what happens, and that would surprise you. And we have some of these objects with us in case you would like to see. These are some of the people that been helping run the lab. Thank you and enjoy your hot sauce jalebis.
I think we get a gist of how the format also works now, right? It is so we wanted to try out something and we wanted to bring in some exciting narratives, and that's one of the reasons that this is on board. And looking at what Javed is doing, we are definitely expecting to see some very exciting satirical products, which, well, why not? So next up, we have Brinda, and she is getting mic'd up. Just give me a second. Completely showing a very different side from what we just saw, and you will know why. Brinda is the founder of Mori Design. You can see some of the beautiful textiles that they create in Hall 2. They reimagine Indian crafts through contemporary textile art. With co-founder Kabir, she collaborates with 150 plus rural women artisans to blend heritage techniques like Sujni embroidery and Rabari mirrorwork with modern designs. Mori emphasizes sustainability, fair wages, and preserving cultural traditions for future generations. I won't say more, leave it on to you.
Hello, I'm Brinda, founder of Mori Design. Me and my partner Kabir, we started our brand in 2018 to explore the potential of crafts and to see what village India can do. We create textile artworks, working very closely with women artisans living across India. So to give you a bit of context about the craft sector,
20 seconds is long. Sorry.
Yeah. So to give you a bit of context of the craft sector, there are about 200 million artisans working in the crafts. Craft sector is the second largest employer after agriculture. But in the wake of industrialization, we see a lot of factory-produced goods flooding the markets, and really the craft, which are authentic, is losing its idea. Sorry, I have to read. So Mori, our company name, it means forest in Japanese. So while I was studying in NIT, I got a chance to go to Japan, and there I came across this word called Mori subculture. It's an entire philosophy where you have this lifestyle of living very closely in harmony with forest, and it's the idea of this philosophy that is shaping our vision. So about the crafts we work with about 165 artisans now across 12 villages. Our studios in Gandhinagar, we work with Rabari embroidery in Kutch. We work with Sujni embroidery in Bihar, and recently started working with Kantha embroidery in Bengal. So a bit of introduction to all the crafts that we are working with. Jat embroidery, the artisans of this community, they've migrated from Balochistan over 200 years ago. It's a very intricate cross-stitch embroidery for which you have to count the warp and weft of the textile, make little cross stitches, and it turns out into beautiful geometrical patterns. So very complex technique. Another craft we work with is the Rabari embroidery. It's they used to be a nomadic tribe, cattle herders, but now most of them have settled. Very distinctive embroidery language they have. Yeah, and we are really experimenting with the stitch styles to make it a very contemporary look. The craft we work in Bihar is Sujni embroidery. So traditionally, Sujni was used to make quilts, combining old saris, but we have reimagined this embroidery more in a textural format to play with more colors and forms and give it a completely new identity from what it traditionally used to be. Bela craft is really special for us. We met Mansukh Bhai 4 years ago in Kutch. That time he was the last practitioner of this craft because the village from where he is, the entire river dried up and entire community had given up practicing the craft. And he had this treasure of old blocks with him, and we kept working with the blocks. Kantha is one of the newest crafts we have started working with. It's very similar to Sujni embroidery, but still every craft has this particular stitches which are very natural to the artisans to practicing it. And I want to make sure to retain that geographical identity of the crafts that we work with. So we make that effort to go to the place where the craft originates and work with the traditional artisans. So our process, it starts with a 6 month of paid training workshop for the artisans, where we are training most of the artisans that we come across in villages have either stopped practicing the craft entirely, or if they're doing it, the quality of the work is nowhere close to the original glory of the craft. So when we started working with craft, we wanted to bring a new visual language. It's more guided by intuition and organic free-flowing forms. It's the kind of language which we can combine a lot of crafts with, and we are experimenting as we discover different crafts and merging different crafts. Architects and interior designers are a big part of our journey because they have really used their work in different ways, and I think there's a bit of cultural shift where people are seeing the possibilities of using textiles and handcrafted things in the home interior spaces. To talk a bit about large-scale works we have done. So this is one panel we have done. A climate scientist named Edward Hawkins, he had developed an infographic showing 70 years of temperature change. So we have made this artwork in 7 panels. Each panel is a decade of temperature change, and it's called Hope. And we hope to create awareness of about climate through this work. And also, forest and nature has always been a central theme to our work. Lot of our works has that natural landscape. This is one of the biggest piece we created, which is 5 by 3 meter. It's again about forest spirit and a very intuitive creation, abstract language. Our installation here at Raw, it's called A Tribute to the Trees of Time. We saw this beautiful tree in Shantiniketan that was planted by Rabindranath Tagore's father, Debendranath Tagore. It had this beautiful energy field around that tree, and we wanted to kind of create that with all the different block print experiments we have done here. So to talk about a bit of the impact, we have really got young generation interested in embroidery. Embroidery is a craft of patience, but seeing the value that is generated with work, we are able to get the interest of young people to take up the craft, which I think is interesting. It's ensuring the craft will continue. This is one of our coordinator families from Kutch. So the artisans who are working with us for last 5-6 years, they have been earning regular work and fair wages, and it has really made the women financially independent and really changing the family dynamics in the villages with that. And the thing which we are most proud about is when we met Mansukh Bhai, was the last artisan, but few years back his son Mehul Bhai has joined him, and he's able to see the value in the craft, and with our work we have been able to generate work for him. A lot of people are coming and working with him, so these are some few stories that we are proud about. To tell you a bit of what we are up to next, we are building a space. It's like an experience center. We're calling it Mori Darshan. Darshan, it means philosophy in Hindi. And in this space, we are designing it in a way, it has permaculture, natural dyeing, block printing. It's more of an experience center which gives you a fee. And Naomi from Doro is the architect who's designing this place for us. Hope it will be up next year. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brinda, for sharing some exciting, really exciting work. What is amazing is the duality of the first presentation, which is very speculative, extremely tech-driven, looking at the possibilities in that arena, and then we have something that is so tangible, so real, and looking at the possibilities that expand out of that. And these are the kind of juxtapositions I feel that that Raw brings out, and we wanted to kind of bring a stage about to be able to showcase that. Next up, we have Ipsita with us. Hi. Ipsita is a learning experience designer and a new media designer. She's also put up a beautiful installation in Hall 2 right at the entrance. It's gorgeous. You should definitely go and have a look. She is a new media designer from NID Gandhinagar with a background in architecture focused on social innovation and design research. Her work integrates technology and art to create impactful experiences. She aims to explore emotional and spatial connections notably through projects like Whispers in the Void and Tactalogue. You can have a look at Whispers in the Void in Hall 2, which is where it has been set up as a part of a collaboration with the Godrej Conscious Collective. Over to you, Ipsita.
Yeah. So, some of you might have visited Whispers in the Void. And so I wanted to, so me and my friend Sangeet from New Media Design from NID, we have put out this installation where we are taking the whispers of the people who are often overlooked, maybe not intentionally but unintentionally. When we are growing, we often forget who actually put up our lives and our cities that are growing. So we wanted to bring out the all the textures and all the materials that are, and the materials are the same that we use and even the people from those communities use. So we wanted to give, and we actually went out to do kind of an ethnographic research with the people, and we wanted to take out their voices. And being architects and having a connection with the architecture world, but still we didn't go through any construction contractor or anybody to collect the stories. We went out to labor chalks to actually understand what they think of the developing cities, because at times when our cities are growing, and okay, 20 seconds are too fast for me. So I actually, you can go and experience the installation. And we explore a lot of, at NID, we actually do 3 S's, which is speculative design and staging and solving. So this is part of my speculative design that I did at NID, thinking of what if emotions could be expressed through hair. And because Neuralink is actually transforming our nature. If Neuralink is installed, then it's transforming our idea of our nature. So what if there are some implants in future which actually showcases our emotions, and when at times we hide our emotions. So what if we don't need to hide our emotions? So that is what I tried to do, and we did a lot of there is a background study, and there are material scientists who are working for a better version of Neuralink. And so we create stories that in future these might be realities, like how movies were made in 1960s, and now we see AI is taking over the world, or it might not, but what happens? So Sangeet had also designed this futuristic pen that grows with your how your consciousness grows. So what if these are made of soft bristles, and you could actually, our handwriting says what our emotional state is. So then this is our staging project. So this is time away, and it's like we can't really remember time as the time, but we always remember time as memories. So this is like a fabric of time that we go back to. We can tell people about, okay, this time you come here, but we never remember time, but we remember the memories that we spend. So this was such an installation. This is Familiar Strangers that we did at NID. This is where the Gandhinagar campus started. So after projecting everywhere, I thought this is where the heart of the campus is. And Familiar Strangers is like, we all know our, when we commute in local trains, local metros or buses, we always know that at the same time, same people we would meet. And so with that concept, it's like, feels like I know them, but not by name. But so those kind of feelings are if projected in an urban space. So we tried to do that, and this is my like dream, that what if we could do it in urban space, in a metro station, and over. So all these texts were designed to be there, and it was done during COVID, so we couldn't really prototype in the outside world, but just in the campus. So this was, it's like when we commute and we think of people we see every day, but we really don't make conversation. But the moment they are missing, we know that they are missing from our environment. So this was again a kinetic sculpture, thinking of, okay, that's gone. This is a design research that I did with kids from underprivileged communities in Calcutta. This was again during COVID. So I went to the slums and how they were active, doing with, how they were responding to the designs. And this is a tactalogue that I designed for Asian Paints, which is tactile catalog, because once as architects we know that when we select our whatever the textures and everything, we are so confused. So what if there is a solution to it for small textures? So this is what I had designed. It's at the intersection of art and science and tech and design. So this was the prototype that we designed. So yeah, and that's it, I think. So it's a lot of mix of other works, and yeah, this was again a prototype before Familiar Strangers was actually done. So thank you so much.
A young visual artist, Pranshu, with us, and Pranshu is also going to share her journey, something very colorful, something which has a lot of her in it. Pranshu Thakur is an emerging artist specializing in repurposing discarded objects to bridge painting and sculpture. A graduate of MSU Baroda and RCA London, she has showcased her work globally, including solo shows in Miami. Her art blends cultural narratives, motifs, and fantasy, creating immersive installations. So, ready? Over to you, Pranshu.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, this is okay. So basically, my practice is about using fictional stories, and I try to make imaginary realms through my works. So I'll start with my bachelor days. So most of the works during those times were inspired by Australian Aboriginal art, and I went to Delhi for this exhibition. Oh God, it's too fast for me. Oh my God. Yeah, so then later on I started exploring various mediums using textiles and then some commercial things like badges and everything where I could touch it and feel it. Then I had a friend who was in architecture, and I collaborated with him and made use of basic architectural drawings and turned it into totem-like structures, which look like they come from some tribal or folk art practice. So, this was meant to be a video, but I'm not a tech person. So it's basically a play where there's a book called Folk Tales from India by A.K. Ramanujan, and he talks about all the stories. There are like short stories. We would like, oh, it's gone already. Okay, sorry. I started using paper mache as a medium, and I like handcrafting things. So all the creatures that you see here are coming out of imagination or out of personal narratives, everyday situations. So there'll be a bird who would have like spikes and everything. Moving to London for my postgrad, I got exposed to a lot of plasticity, plastic mediums, hence the change in colors and mediums as well. I would go out in the streets and start hoarding things like duvets and bags and everything and take it to my studio and just like make something out of it. So these are a few images from my studio. And yeah, so that one on the left, this one, purple, is like a girl carrying grocery bags. And yeah. Then this, I started referring to a lot of animations as well. So I was looking at US adult animation, BoJack Horseman and all of that. So like kind of validated my practice ki haan bhai, there's someone else who's doing this, who's looking at the world from this other side where there's a mix, like people are accepting hybrid forms. And when it comes to mythology as well, there's like mix of human figure along with animal figures. So like it's not too literal, but you get the essence of it. So yeah, these are the references, and like every character holds certain instincts and certain. So I like to. Oh God, I can't do this. And then okay, yeah, I started. I'm so new to this, man. 20 seconds. Okay, so then I started using some milk cartons, everything that was lying around me, all the objects, once they lose their utility, like the utilitarian purpose, I thought maybe I can recontextualize all these objects and make something out of it. So when it comes to sustainability as a term in itself, we refer to it as like making something out of waste. But that comes to like being in a product or making like, but I thought maybe sustainability can also be seen as aesthetic also. Like anything that pleases your eye, anything that makes you, like that provokes you, can be sustainable. So these are a few books that I refer to all the time. I love these books. And most of the characters that I make come out of, yeah, the Man and His Symbols is a great book. He's a great, yeah, whatever. Then, yeah, I get in the flow of it. Yeah. Okay, so then I was thinking of abundance. What are we surrounded with in abundance? So when I'm placed geographically in India, I have mud, soil, trees, everything around me. London, I only had cardboards and plastics and everything. So I wanted to respond to that using my memories from home, like being surrounded with dogs, crocodiles, trees, fresh cut fruits, and everything. So using this along with, like, I use a lot of primitive prehistoric imagery in my work, which kind of I thrive for it because it describes how primitive we are in nature, and it grounds me down to my practice and myself as a individual on this planet. So I think I've made myself a person who doesn't resonate my art as like it's a separate practice. I feel like my lifestyle is like my art is a result of what I'm living. So that's solely my purpose. Like I'm here to exist and to make and to create. So that's why I just choose to look at things and respond to it. So there'll be characters, you'll see sun का कोई character बना है, cloud का character है, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pranshu. But it's a wonderful story that you've shared with us, and at already moving to that kind of a format through your experiences, it's very exciting to see how your journey is going to shape up. So thanks for sharing a bit of it with us, and we'll look forward to seeing how it sort of expands. And finally, we have Maulik with us, Maulik Oza, who is the founder of Mo Ceramics, which is an Ahmedabad-based practice. Maulik is trained as an architect, transitioned to ceramics during his CEPT university days. Co-founder of Clay Club Innovations, he integrates ceramics into architectural design through screens and facades. Now leading Mo Ceramic and Design, he crafts pottery equipment while merging his architectural sensibilities with a deep passion for clay artistry. So we are going to see something, after seeing different formats and mediums, we are going to see something that's extremely tacit, very tangible, and something that our hands can only create. So over to you, Maulik.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. Hi, I'm Maulik Oza. I'm an architect and ceramic artist from Ahmedabad and also a founder of Mo Ceramic. So it's like why doing still matters. We can go to next. This is the ceramic mural which I recently completed, and it's at the Abhivakti. It's on the display at Abhivakti. You can move. Basically, it's a puzzle made out of thousands of ceramic donuts, small donuts, fitted with magnets and assembled on powder-coated sheet metal. When I pause and look at my work from the distance, what intrigues me is that not the colors and the patterns and etc., but how an idea travels with us through the time. You can move next. So the theme of modularity, abstraction, repetition has surfaced a lot in my work over last 2 decades. It has taken, in some cases, it has taken the form of jalis and facades. In some cases, it has gone into wall murals. And then sculptures. This is again the same module which I have used in the mural, repeated into a spiral form. More sculptures, again same module, but in a linear format. So the question is, which idea sticks and which one gets lost on the transition? So basically, the ideas which we choose to act upon, they stay. And the moment you act on the idea, what it does is it embeds into our memory, and our senses are engaged. So that action could be just making a drawing or a sketch, taking a deliberate photograph, or let's say cutting or pasting a clip onto the tech board. Next. For me, it was a basic design first year exercise given way back in 2005 by Mickey and Walter. You can go previous. It was basically an exercise which started with a letter, and I chose a letter M in a Gujarati Ma. Then we looked at the Ma in a purely visually format, as a shape only, devoid of its meaning. We started playing with it. Then we took a small part of it, repeated it into making patterns, and specifically black and white patterns to see the positive and negative of it. So the same thing is going further. And then finally, it got translated into a 3-dimension, first into a cardboard models, and then into a beautiful terracotta relief weave. So the work which I did in 2005 as a naive first-year architecture student still impacts my work which I do today, which you can see in this mural. So yeah, that's it. It was very quick. That's my time, and I hope I have left you with a very sticky idea. Thank you. Thanks.
Wow, that was a completely other side of 20 into 20. Thank you so much, Maulik. Again, for sharing a very different kind of process to even go back to the basics. And this is something very exciting, and what we discussed also when he was going to work and continuing to do our work, we seldom go back to right at the basics. Of course, it's etched within us, but it rarely happens that we are looking at it as something that has somewhere inspired us in multiple ways. So thank you so much, all of y'all. I just wanted to invite you all over here. Ipsita, Brinda, Pranshu, Maulik, Javed, and wanted to quickly check in if anybody had any kind of questions or anything that you guys want to just share, probably. This was a novel format that we tried here. Of course, Pecha Kucha is a larger this thing, but we just wanted to give it a shot and see how it works. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but we thoroughly did enjoy. And thank you for sharing a piece of you through that with all of us. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. Oops, you can exchange it with another color.